Hi, my relatives. Welcome back to another episode of the Our Storytellers podcast, brought to you by our friends and family at the Indigenous Screen Office. The Squamish podcast series is slowly coming to an end, but we couldn't have done it without our friends at the Indigenous Screen Office. So our hands go up to them. Thank you so much for helping us put all these podcasts together. We still got a couple more episodes, but because of you, we were able to be joined by amazing matriarchs like Cherie Baker, who is today's guest on Our Storytellers. And Cherie is Squamish and Ahousaht, grew up in Ahousaht. And I found today's episode, in my experience, to be a very spiritual episode. Cherie has an amazing story, and she really shares a lot about her spiritual experiences and how that's changed her life. She talks about returning to Ahousaht and naming ceremonies, and it's just, when we were writing the description for this intro, it was hard for me to find the words that really encapsulate what this podcast means. And I think like English almost isn't even the right language to do it in. So please welcome to the Our Storytellers podcast, Cherie Baker.
Hello, my relatives. How are you? Here at Our Storytellers, we care about your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being, which is why we want to inform you that this podcast discusses topics that may cause trauma to listeners and viewers. These subjects include mentions of Indian residential schools, assimilation, ongoing harm, colonial impacts, and much more. Our Storytellers recognizes the need to minimize risks associated with traumatic subject matter. The Hope for Wellness helpline offers immediate help to all Indigenous people across Canada. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to offer immediate support and crisis intervention. Services are available in English and French, and in Nehiyaw, Anishinaabe and Inuktitut upon request. If you or someone you know are experiencing any harm, no matter how big or small it's perceived to be, you can call the toll-free helpline at 1-855-242-3310 or connect to the online chat at www.hopeforwellness.ca. Kinanaskaman, I'm grateful for you. Your ancestors are always with you. All my relations, Riel.
I guess to officially introduce myself, my name is Riel Drury. I'm actually Métis from Nehiyaw and Soto background, and all my family comes from the Red River, and I'm from the Prue family out there. And how this all kind of came to be was I did move my camera, but that's okay. I'll fix it later. How this all kind of came to be was we were writing a grant to this organization and our partners called the Indigenous Screen Office, and they actually provided this honorarium here for you. And so we're so grateful to the Indigenous Screen Office for providing that. And I have a blanket and some tobacco here from you, and this is just some protocol to ask you to share your stories and just to open up the relationship between our family and yours. And I joined Mom's family when I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And when I got the grant, like Mom told you, I was living here going to university, right? Mm-hmm. And it only felt right to give back any of the grant back to the community that mm-hmm. essentially raised me. Like all the neighbors around here have all taken care of me when I was growing up, and mm-hmm. being an idiot kid, like not mowing the lawn and, doing all that stuff, and the community has made me feel very safe. So it just felt right to give back to the community. And so I'll pass this over to you here. And then in your own way, just please introduce yourself.
Wait, sure. Cherie Baker Queen. Chlamaki a clufpachok suk kui on New Channel, Cushamains, Tinachan, Slaslahan, or Homel. Neve ta Solsail. Judith a Sonamot Harry Baker. Chinmatsitsap not Taltnawas. Squamish chin a Ahousaht chin a Ahousaht chin. So good morning. My name is Cherie Baker. I carry some New Channel and ancestral names, and my parents are Judy and the late Judy and Harry Baker. I come from Aslahan village, and I am Squamish, and I'm Ahousaht and Ahousaht.
Awesome. What was growing up like for you?
It was good. I mean, what were we? What is that? Gen X? Is that Gen X?
Mm-hmm.
Where like when you get outside, you're not allowed to go inside. When you got to go out, you got to go out. You drink from the hose outside. You run around and play. But yeah, I have 3 older brothers that I grew up with, and so I was the baby, and I was the only girl in the household besides my mom, and so I was a princess. I was spoilt rotten, and yeah, I did. I played soccer. I did some. Mostly was just towed around by my parents to my brother's lacrosse games, soccer games, whatever they were doing. I was always with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rink rats, your kids, you're always accompanying, and they're always there.
Yeah.
Our kids did that too.
Yeah.
Lots of time.
Yeah.
What was your dad like? And did you grow up in Aslahan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. First, I was a condo kid for 5 years, and then they built a house beside my grandparents when I was 5. So we moved just down the road, and he was, my dad was a hard worker. He went to Indian day school, and he had his traumas there, and I think he went up to grade 9, I think. And so from there, he just went into the workforce. He's the oldest. He was the oldest boy in his family, so he had a lot of responsibility. My grandma and grandpa had 13, but my grandpa's previous marriages, there was 8 more. I think my grandpa had 21 kids altogether.
Whoa.
And who was your grandparents?
The late Onamot, Ray, and May Baker. Yeah. So they come down from John Baker's line. I can see it, but I can't remember the names. But
Yeah.
I do know. Yeah, I did study that history of John Baker.
Who was John Baker?
He was the one who married Cialia.
Came from England.
Yeah, he came from England, and he married a Squamish girl. And then they had 5 daughters and 3 sons. And so, yeah, my grandpa, my dad, and my grandpa descend from one of the sons.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's how the massive Baker clan there is now today.
Mm-hmm.
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 Our big families had happened that way, eh?
Yeah.
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 And then they often intermarried too, I think.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. And we're related to so many other families because of the 5 daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think they all married within
Yeah.
two, so that created like the
Yeah.
mixed up. All of our families are blended together
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Yeah, because
just
the
really.
Nahaney's are like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. So you lived right beside your or down the road from your grandparents' house. So did you grow up hanging out over there a lot too?
Not as much, I don't think. My parents were really protective. Like I was not allowed to go ripping all over the place. Like I was allowed to stay in the yard, maybe go next door, but like, I remember in the summer when it was still light out, I had to come in and go to bed, and it was 9 o'clock was my bedtime or whatever it was. And all my cousins were still out running around and I could hear them yelling out the window and I'm like, bed.
No fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we did go over there for visits and my grandpa was older when I was young. Like he was 82 when he passed away, and I was 10 years old at that time.
Mm.
So I just have like, few memories of him when I was younger, right? But something that I do remember about him is just seeing us grandkids run through the kitchen and, like, Grandpa, I'm hungry. Can I have those strawberries in the fridge? And, he's always like, yep, take them all, eat them. If the kids are hungry, you got to feed them, and
So he was kind.
yeah, kind and grumpy, but, like he had that,
A tolerance that would.
yeah, and he had that like raspy voice, that was kind of scary, and he'd walk around with a cane and shake his cane at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandfather was like that too.
Yeah.
He had his crutches, right? So
Yeah.
he definitely. I only have childhood
Do you want me
memories
to
of him
mute
too.
this?
What is it? Oh, it doesn't matter.
No.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not intrusive.
Doesn't matter.
Well, you know what? I'm going to, because we have that blink. So every time the door opens,
Oh.
I get notifications every time the door opens.
Oh, I have. I have a camera out front too, and before any time a detective movement,
Yes.
it would shoot me a text
Yes.
message.
So the cat.
So the wind would blow.
around.
The wind would blow. I had prayer flags outside in the front, and it'd be like beep, beep, like 100 times a day. And I was like, you know what?
You turn that off.
I hope if anything happens, I hope it does its job. I don't know. I don't care at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I checked one day last week, and there was a pigeon in the driveway just walking around.
You caught him red-handed.
I wonder. Nugget got sprayed by a skunk like 2 weeks ago. I wonder if it caught him on that. Getting sprayed by a skunk.
Oh,
That would have been good to see.
see.
Crap, that footage is long gone now. Anyway.
There you go.
Anyway, what was your grandma like?
She was always loving, always happy to see you, always had a smile and a hug, and yeah, you just felt really special when you saw her because she just made you feel special.
Mm.
Yeah. The family called her, I think, the Queen of Mission Heights, I think, because we were like at the top of Ahousaht, right? So we're like, oh, this is Mission Heights.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I can see that because it kind of goes up at quite a grade, right?
Yeah.
The mission does. That's funny.
Hey, my relatives, super quick pause in this episode of Our Storytellers just to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office. The Indigenous Screen Office supports Indigenous narrative sovereignty through storytelling on screen. They provide grants to small podcasts like us to support our growth and to support the guests that we can have come on. Big thanks to them. Please check them out on Instagram. Please check out their website. You never know, there might be an opportunity for you on there.
especially if you're creating content, get out there and check them out. Thank you so much to our partners at the Indigenous Screen Office. Back to the podcast. Did you like going to school?
It was okay. It was okay, I think. I went to the local school that all the kids went to, and I think that was probably my first taste of like racism of low expectations, right? You know, like I felt like learning was an option. You know, you guys want to go to the park instead? Okay, let's go. We'll, you know, walk up to Mahan Park and we'll play there all day, type of thing. And it was, I remember doing, I remember we did an assessment, and I don't know if they did FSAs back then, but I remember doing an assessment and seeing the results, like, because they were right there, so I was like just looking, and I want to say like most of my grade, their levels like had like 4s beside them.
So what was the scale for?
Right. So that's what I asked the teacher. I'm like, what is this? Like, she's like, oh, that's the level that everybody is at. And I'm like, but that's a 4. Is that grade 4? Like, we're in grade 7. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And she was like, oh yeah, no, but that's okay. You guys are okay. You know. And like you were higher than that, and it's okay. You guys are fine. You know. And I'm like, oh. You know. And even like back then, in the back of my mind, I was like, that doesn't seem right. You know, that most of my cohort was like at a grade 4 level in grade 7.
Wow.
Right. And it was okay.
Yeah.
That was considered acceptable.
Yeah.
But de-education was a policy for decades, wasn't it, for Indigenous people?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it started around the 1890s when they took care of changing the creed of the legislation.
I'm gonna fix this on you.
Sorry.
It's in your armpit.
Oh, too low.
Go for it.
So, yeah, because de-education was really became a policy of Indian affairs for a very long time. Even when they started putting us into public school, there was still special permission, other things that had to come into play too. So when you went to school and seeing that, once you finished school, what did you look at doing?
After school, I was a childcare worker for a little while, just working one-on-one with kids at risk, and I think I was like 18 or 19. It was, and quickly understanding that was frontline work.
Yeah.
You know, some of the stories that were shared with me from the kids, and you know, after you work with them and you gain their trust and they start sharing things, and so that was a little eye-opening, I guess. But
How long did you do that?
I think I did that for 2 years, and then we opened up the youth center, and then I was a youth worker. I moved over to the youth center, I think probably for maybe 7 years. I think I did that.
Is that the one down at the Chief Joe Mathias?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we opened up, it was the little building, the little one in between the current youth center.
Oh yes, yeah.
Right.
It's become the slush and
Yes.
food
Yeah.
pantry now, I believe.
Yeah.
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 And what did you do there? Like, what was the work like?
That was like, we were open after school in the evenings, so the kids would just come down. It was just meant to be a safe place for them to be, and we would have food available. We would have entertainment. You know, they could come down and play games, play video games, play pool,
Chill out, be themselves.
Yeah.
Have space to just
Yeah.
hang around if they didn't want to be outside wandering. Yeah. Yeah, I think my kids were down there too during that time.
Did you have any role models or family in your neighborhood that you looked up to growing up? Who did you look up to, I guess?
I think On my mom's side, she was she was non-Indigenous, and her family was little. It was her parents and her sister. And we spent a lot of time with them. You know, my grandma Selby, she was like, you know, the usual grandma. You'd go over, she'd bake cookies, you know, she would do fun things with you. You'd go for walks, and same with my auntie, you know, she was the fun place to be. We'd go for sleepovers and stuff like that, you know, and I was able to just be a kid there, right, you know, and do fun kid things. On my dad's side, like, I think maybe it was my late uncle, Ahousaht, Lawrence Baker. He was a spiritual guy, and he'd come over and cleanse the house, and he always recognized something in me, and he always noted that my room, there was always lots of activity around my room, and I think it was because, you know, I always had respect for the elders, for the ancestors. I had found some old pictures of that my mom and dad had put away, and I put them up on, you know, a wall in my room, and he'd come and he'd share teachings with me, and he just told me, you know, like, there's lots of ancestors here. They congregate around you. They love you because of, you know, what you're doing, and so, yeah, I think he helped me a lot, especially in my teen years, like when things started to sort of change, I guess. I don't know, like, well, I'm adopted, right? I was adopted when I was born on July 10th. I was apprehended. This is what the adoption agency told my parents, you know. I was apprehended at 3 days old, adopted at 5 days old, and then at 3 weeks old, my parents came to pick me up in Kamloops. And so I grew up knowing that I was adopted, and then in my teen years, when I started working with my late uncle a lot more, I guess things just started happening, you know, like spiritually. You know, I started having dreams and having some feelings, I guess, you know, like spiritual. I was able to, I was like feeling the spirits around me, and dreaming a lot about them, and traveling around in my dreams, and I think I started having dreams that somebody was looking for me. And around the same time, my mom was having nightmares that somebody was trying to take me away from her. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. My uncle came up, and he worked on the house. He brought me around with him, and we did the whole house. And then we came down and did my bedroom last. And as soon as I stepped into my room, I felt like something hot shoot in between my shoulder blades. And I stopped, and my dog was outside. We had to put him out while we did the work, and he went nuts. He was trying to jump in the window, and he was barking and freaking out. And my uncle turned around, and he's like, whoever is looking for you, I think they just found you. So he worked on me, and he just shared that, like, you know, this one of your ancestors, you know, they've been looking for you, and they found you. They have gifts for you, but I explained to them that there's, you know, that they need to calm down and be patient and wait, because I don't have anybody here that can teach me about those gifts, because my gift isn't from here.
Right.
My ancestors aren't from here. So he told me, my late uncle told me, he's like, you're going to need to find your family sometime.
Yeah.
And so that, I think I was around 20 around that time.
Wow.
And I never really looked because the adoption agency told my mom and dad that my birth mother was later in life, late 30s, early 40s. She'd already had 3 or 4 kids, and she just couldn't take care of another child. So
Wow. That would have been in what time period? When were you?
73.
73. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was at kind of the height of the scoops was picking up
Yeah.
by then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I went through, like, I don't know how many years of, knowing in the back of my mind, I need to eventually find my family. I don't know how many times, like, I've had the adoption reunification paper, sitting on my desk, sitting in my binder, and then I got to the point where it was filled out, maybe in my early 40s, but I still never sent it in. And then the 60 scoop settlement came out, and I didn't think anything of it until I saw the years, and I was like, oh,
Wait a second.
I was born in that, within that time frame, so
And adopted.
yeah. So I applied, thinking that, oh, like, nothing's gonna come of it because my mom gave me up, but
Right.
but then I was approved, so that got me thinking, like, so what did really happen then? Is that what really happened? Right? 'Cause if I was approved as a 60 scoop survivor, then
Yeah.
what really happened? And so that sort of started getting the wheels turning in my brain, wondering what's going on. And then my boys were starting to be curious and, like, who is our family, Mom? Where do we come from? And
Yeah.
like, my oldest went up to Kamloops to play junior football and go to school, and he's like, Mom, you got to find out. I don't want to be kissing my cousins.
Good boy. I got it all figured out, eh?
Yeah. So then I did Ancestry DNA, and I sat on there for about a year, and I had all of these cousins popping up, but they were like, third or fourth cousins. It was still too vast to try and figure out and pinpoint where I came from. And then after a year, this was just the end of COVID when things started opening up again. And my boys were like, I think it was finally starting to wear on them, the COVID scene, They were like, there was just, sadness in the house and, depression. And my youngest fell down the stairs. And it was like the last 2 steps or something he fell, but he ruptured his patellar tendon. And it was just like this huge injury. And the doctors kept asking, do you have knee problems in the family? Does he have knee problems? This is just so weird that this would happen in this way. Usually it's like people in their 30s and 40s who rupture their patellar tendon, and so I thought that was really strange. And looking at my other boys and the rest of the family, I decided to bring in some people. We asked, like, my mom's best friend, who's a traditional knowledge keeper, and what can we do? How can we help my boys and cleanse the house? And so she brought in a Squamish family, and they went through the house, and like, there's just so many funny things about what happened in the house. Like, my middle son had this big aquarium, and the fish were slowly starting to die off in the aquarium, and he had some big ones in there. And I brought her into that room, and she was looking at it and looking at the floor, and and then she's like, were there fish in here? And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, but they're like dying away. And she's like, oh, yeah, there's a warrior. He's sitting right here and he's watching the fish tank. And I asked him what he's doing. He said he's waiting for the fish to get bigger so he can eat them.
Love it.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's where all the fish are going, like, because there was a couple big ones and they just disappeared. Like, it was just so strange.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And
you
then,
gotta feed your ancestors.
right?
Or they'll come and feed themselves.
Yes. Yes. But at the end of that ceremony, the boards wanted to work on my middle son. And so they stood him up and they worked on him, and she was gathering things in her hand. And she came after that was done, she told me, she's like, the only way I can explain it is there are a lot of eyes on him and they're not from here. And she said, so they have gifts, and I will share that with him, and then I'll let them go. And so she did that. And 2 weeks later, on my Ancestry, a first cousin popped up.
Wow.
So, like, our ancestors were here. They were with us. Mm-hmm. They had the gift. They had the message, and then she sent them home, right? And then so it's like it was just so neat how that.
And somebody up there got the message.
Yeah.
And now it's manifested up to your family. That connection came, right?
A connection came. A first cousin came, and he messaged me, and I guess he was looking for something on his side. So he's like, hey, we're first cousins. I was just wondering if you knew how. And I'm like, I don't know how. Like, I'm adopted, and so next thing you know, I'm pulled into their chat group and talking with all of the aunties and uncles, and they're asking all the questions, and I'm telling them, my story, and and right from that first chat with them, they were like, well, it's clear that you are here, that you are come from this generation. We might not know who your parent is at this time, but it's clear, and we see you, and we recognize you as family.
Wow.
So that was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We had a similar thing in our family too. Mm-hmm. So it's so beautiful that it unfolded that way. Mm-hmm. So did you guys meet?
Yeah. It turned out that that was my dad's side of the family. And so we went up there. We went, and he was from Ahousaht, so we went up to Ahousaht.
Oh, okay.
And
beautiful.
And we went to a potlatch, and they pulled me on the floor, like, just nearing the end of the potlatch after all the work was done. They pulled me out onto the floor. Of course, my husband and my niece had already gone to bed because it was like 3 a.m. And so they couldn't keep their eyes open any longer.
They say they potlatch long.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And my boys they couldn't make it at that time, but yeah, they pulled me on the floor and they just introduced me to the community and, told them who I came from, and they gave me a name. It was really cool. And then the chiefs got up, the hot wave, they got up and they just said, welcome home, welcome back. This is your home too. We're your family and we're happy you're here. And yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was amazing. That whole, I don't know, 3 years, I think, from when I started Ancestry. A year later, I found my dad, and then a year later, I found my mom. Like, it was an amazing journey. I had to, I spent the year kind of getting to know my dad's family, and things kept popping up on Ancestry, but not close enough to figure out who my mother was. Right. There was all of these things that were just like trying to sort out the family tree, and I'm like, no, that's not making sense. I don't think it's there. And I had all of these people cousins from the island that were, checking in with me regularly, who's on your ancestry today, and trying to help me figure out
Oh, wow.
who they were and stuff like that. I wound up signing up for something called Search Angels, and it's a nonprofit society that filled with people who like that's their passion, is just to search and find and figure things out. So
Takes a lot of combing to go through old
Yeah.
data, and
Yeah.
it's a big job.
Yeah. So I signed up, and the lady took on my case, and she sent me things every night for like 2 weeks. It took her 2 weeks to build my tree. I just had to give her access to my ancestry, and she went through it and she built my tree, and she's like, I think you come from this line. And it turns out that I kind of had an inkling about who it was already, because one of my paternal sisters' mom was helping me a lot, and she's like, I think I know, like, check out this lady on Facebook. And I looked, and I was like, holy crap, and I showed my husband. I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, holy shit.
You.
Yeah. And then so when I got the confirmation, I just kind of reached out to her. Well, I reached out to my other paternal sister on my dad's side. I think he had 11 kids. So,
Wow.
So I've got lots of siblings on that side. So I reached out to my other paternal sister because I saw that they were Facebook friends, and I was like, who's this lady? Like,
Yeah.
is she okay? Like, will she acknowledge me if I reach out to her? And so my sister was just like, yeah, she's a wonderful lady. She's a wise woman. She's highly respected. And she's like, just do it. Just reach out to her. So, so yeah. So I did. I reached out to her on Facebook, and
You found your mom?
I found her. Yeah. And she was still alive. And she wasn't older in life. She wasn't a drinker. She didn't have 3 or 4 kids. She was 19 when she had me.
Wow.
Right. And she, a lot like me, she barely drank. And I was her firstborn. So, so yeah, all of those years I thought I had older siblings somewhere, and
So they're younger. Did she have other
she
children?
had one more after me, 4 years after me. She had a daughter, and but she passed away, I think maybe almost 10 years ago now. She had gotten a virus, and she didn't realize that, like, it was bacterial, right? So I think
So she lost
she lost her
her
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah, and then she lost her husband. And then, yeah, like, and then I found her.
Wow.
So that was like meeting her and getting to know the community. Some of her closest friends have come up to me, and they're like, you saved her, like, because she was really dimming after losing her daughter
That's
and her
a loss.
husband.
Those are big
They were
losses.
big losses. Yeah. And then we come into her life, and she has grandchildren, because my late sister never had kids. So
Yeah.
here
so
she is. She's a grandma now. Right?
That must have been really profoundly impactful for her. Yeah, for all of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think I remember you posting stuff. I thought that was just fantastic. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an amazing journey, and talking to her, and she just said she prayed for me every day. Every day of my life she prayed for me. And when I turned 18, she went and filled out the forms with the government.
Did she? Good for her.
So had I? How many times I had those forms in my hand, all I had to do was submit them. But
Well,
I don't know why I didn't, but
it's hard to say. I had a child when I was 15, and she was taken as well. And she found me when she was 20, in her 20s, early. And she ended up marrying Jehovah's Witness, so she followed the faith and went that way. Different outcome. And I had 3 of my children by then. They were little. So, but it was different. She actually found me through in BC, they have an open access to adoption records. They can apply and look at it, but they have dual birth certificates. So she had one birth certificate that provided my name, but then she had her adopted. The one that was issued when she was adopted, they gave her that one, the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different stories, right? So,
Yeah.
Hi, my relatives. If you're enjoying this podcast, or if you have any feedback on this podcast, please let us know, because we're always trying to get better at the same time. But especially if you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we have some really cool projects coming out that you might want to check out. Please follow us on Spotify. Share our reels as well too. That helps us out so much. And yeah, just check us out. Share the word. We're working really hard to keep this content coming for you. And the support helps us out so much, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much for listening. Back to the podcast. So, what's the relationship like today with your mom?
It's good. We're just, we're getting to know each other, and it's neat to hang out with her, and it baffles me sometimes when her viewpoint on something, or the way she'll say something, and I'll be like, oh, that's so me. Like I totally we kind of have similar viewpoints, and we see things the same way. And
genetics plays a big role, even if environment has been there too, right?
Has she told you any family stories?
Yeah, there's so much. I feel like every time I see somebody, they share something with me, and it's a lot to take in. She held a potlatch for us last spring, and we took that time up until spring to come to visit regularly and learn the songs and learn the dances. And my boys were gonna drum and sing and dance, and I was gonna dance. But for whatever reason, there was a death in the family just like the day before, so we couldn't pick up our drums. So she went through with the potlatch and just did the work. So the whole day was just like the gym was filled. She invited all of the family, the 4 families, right, that make up that she comes from, and so she invited them all. And we spent the day, she stood up this family, and that this is your maternal grandmother's side, and, and stood us up. And she's like, and she would be like, look at each other, see each other. This is your family. This is where you come from.
Beautiful. And
she did that for her mom and dad's side, and for, so both. Like her mom's side parents and dad's side parents. And so that was really neat. And so they would all get up and share as well. And so it was such a full day. And my mom and dad were there. And my mom, of course, was a wreck, and she was that's always her biggest fear, right? Was like that somebody would come and take me away. My mom, my birth mom, and my birth family would take me away.
Yeah.
But she was stood up so much that day. The family stood her up. My dad's side of the family stood her up. My mom's side of the family stood her up, and they just said, thank you for taking care of her and loving her. And she was overwhelmed. It was like, I don't know, she cried so much that day.
The fear that you tell yourself that.
Yeah.
When I met the woman who adopted my daughter, she was very much in the same place.
Yeah.
She lived in fear,
Yeah.
you know, and I just said thank you,
Yeah.
because what else could you do? She
Yeah.
loved her, cherished her,
Yeah.
raised her, did everything except birth her. So how could you ever be anything but grateful to
Yeah.
for that, eh? That's a beautiful thing. Your mom must have been changed after that. Eh?
Yeah.
It seems like ceremony has played a integral role in you reconnecting with family. Would you say that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, it's profound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like my Ahousaht mom. That's I call her my Ahousaht mom, because yeah, she's gonna carry on and have the celebration this fall. So we'll be starting practicing again,
Beautiful.
and yeah.
So ceremonies really come into your life in an enormous way.
Yeah.
In that way.
Did you grow up going to ceremony?
We were around it. Like, it was more, my mom and dad were looked at as leaders in his family, because he was the oldest male. And so the family would always go to him for decisions or for support or advice. If there was a death in the family, they would come to him, and he would make the decisions, or they would always, they were always the first ones out the door when they heard somebody passed away, and going to that person's house, and being there with them and bringing them food and supporting them in that way. And knowing and understanding what needed to be done for the service, for the burning, stuff like that. Like, they always went to my mom and dad for that stuff. I mean, even though my mom wasn't Indigenous and wasn't Squamish, but they were like, his family were like, acknowledged her for what she knew and what needed to be done for the spirit. And so yeah.
Interesting. What an amazing story. I got shivers thinking about that. What an amazing story. You know,
That's how I felt when I was watching it unfold, because I actually followed along with, because she posted a lot about what was going on in the family as they were kind of learning these things. So it was really it's really cool to hear the whole story in its entirety and kind of do that. So it's beautiful.
Before I did Search Angels, I think I was doing a meditation, like one of those guided meditations. There's this Indigenous woman on YouTube who does like yoga and like meditation. And this one was like, it was like for, calling the grandmothers, I think, or something. So I was doing a meditation, and she'd walk you through, inviting your paternal grandmother to come and sit with you, inviting your maternal grandmother to come and sit with you. And it was like at that point I knew who my paternal grandmother was. So like, I just invite you in, and I can feel her, she's with me. And then it was like maternal grandmother. I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is, but I'm opening up. I'm inviting you in, and then yeah, like, it was literally like, again, 2 weeks later is when we found out who my mother was.
wow.
Yeah.
So spirit and ceremony had a lot to do with being wrapped up in that journey to find your way back home to your family, right?
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful story.
What does ceremony mean to you today?
Oh, it's a part of who we are. Like, it's a part of just taking care of spirit, taking care of ourselves, and being connected staying connected to the ancestors, where we come from, and holding on to those teachings and passing them on, because I think as Indigenous people we're so lucky and blessed to still have that connection to our ancestors, where we come from, and holding on to those teachings. We have a place, like, yeah, the rest of the world is so colonized, and some of those non-Indigenous families don't know where they come from and what, who their 7 times great ancestor is, and they can go look in a book and probably figure it out, but we know, because it's still passed down.
Spirit is connected to.
We're still connected.
Yeah.
Connected to the ancestors, connected to the land. Yeah.
That way.
What advice would you give to your younger self growing up, knowing what you know today?
I don't know if I would have any advice, but if I had the chance, I would just go sit with her. Because growing up in that time, intergenerational trauma was unheard of. Like, it wasn't really identified.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was there, and you can't know. I think if you know any Indigenous person then you know about intergenerational trauma. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because we were all impacted by intergenerational trauma.
Nobody escaped.
Nobody escaped.
No.
And there was troubles in our family, and troubles in my dad's family, and alcohol was a big part of it, and I witnessed abuse, I heard abuse, but never experienced abuse. But yeah, there was lots of stuff that went on with my mom and dad, and hearing
Degrees of it, right?
Yeah.
So witnessing or knowing of or seeing.
in community, you hear fights, and you hear people yelling around, and yeah, I think I just felt, being the youngest and the only girl, I was always in my own room, always by myself. And yeah, if I had the chance, I would just go sit with me, just so that I knew that I wasn't alone.
If you could meet one of your ancestors, who would it be?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one, because of the respect and love that I have for our Squamish ancestors being with me. And I guess in a sense I wasn't alone, because they were always there with me. But yeah, I think the ones that I think about the most are probably my new channeled grandmothers, I think. I've heard so many stories about both of my grandmothers that, it would have been great to have met them and sit with them.
What would you ask them about?
Probably about ceremony, probably about teachings,
Yeah.
I hear that they had a lot to share, and they were well respected, and so.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is fun. Are you having fun yet?
Yeah.
How has learning your family history changed how you see yourself?
I think it's helped me plant my feet more. growing up Squamish, I was Squamish. I knew the ancestors loved me, but I also understood that I was not blood, and that there were things that I couldn't know. There were things that couldn't be handed down to me.
Right.
And there were things, you know, there was some lateral violence, I think, you know. I was going to get a name. My late uncle Lawrence was going to give me an ancestral name with the rest of my family, but you know, at the ceremony, somebody got up and said that I can't have a name. So, because I'm not blood. So.
We experienced that in our family with the ceremony here too.
Yeah.
I often wondered if that was an influence of colonial settler, like layering on top of our ceremony. But, you know, I often wondered, like, because when you sit in isolation and think about it, it's different. But when we wrap our children and we take them, you know, he's a great example. He's my son. I fully accept him as my son. I didn't give birth to him, but I would never treat him any differently than any of my children. He is as unconditionally loved as all of my children are, even the one who was taken. So, you know, I often wonder when I sit and I hear these stories of how we bring our family in and then they stand and do these things, and I think to myself, was that how our people were? Because everything I hear of our ancestors are, they were kind, they were loving, they, when they took you to them, you were fully in all ways, like all four directions, right? That mind, body, spirit, and physical.
Yeah. Stichioi, the sisters, were they not Haida?
I believe so. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They were stolen
and
from the Haida Nation.
And they came to stand and say, we will bring peace, peace and harmony. So that's why I often wonder with those teachings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think, what was the question?
It was about accepting, like, part of your being accepted to your family.
How has it changed how you see yourself today?
Changed, yeah.
Yeah, I think because of those things growing up, like having those things happen, I'm like, my astrological sign is a Cancer, and I'm very much like a crab. I have my shell, and so I think a lot of my childhood, because of the, like, you know, intergenerational trauma and the racism of low expectations and the lateral violence, a lot of my childhood was spent in my shell, and like I remember at the naming ceremony, when it was in the longhouse, we were already on the blankets. Yeah. The floor was open, and somebody stood up and said I couldn't have that name. So I was literally
pulled from the floor.
I couldn't leave the blanket. I had to stay there for the rest of the ceremony while my brothers and my dad got their names. They had sacred things that they shared with them, and I was sort of respectfully told, you can't listen, try not to hear what they're saying, because this is like sacred for those that are getting ancestral names, right?
Wow.
That is traumatic.
So
that's
it was
traumatic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's wow.
So there was a small part of my brain, like, after that was like, I'm Squamish, but I'm not Squamish.
Would leave you feeling very different from that experience.
Yeah.
But that's not the experience you had when you went home to Ahousaht and to your mom's family as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think finding out who my ancestors were and connecting in that way, I think that helped me understand and realize, you know, it gave me more confidence as to who I was. you know, like I'm still Squamish. I still love the land and respect the people and love the ancestors. I hold the ancestors dear to my heart
Totally.
and
Me too.
Totally.
right.
Yep.
And but I'm also Ahousaht, and I'm also Ahousaht, and I know where my gifts come from. And
And where is Ahousaht?
Port Alberni,
Port Alberni.
yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful community
yeah,
up there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Their homeland is like right sort of down from Ucluelet at the Broken Islands.
I went up there once.
Yeah,
It's stunning, beautiful, beautiful lands, beautiful waters. Yeah.
So after all of this whole journey that you've been on, what does family mean to you?
I think family is it's heart. It's for me, like as a mother, like that it's everything. My family is the most important thing to me, and part of the reasons why I did what I did, and looking for my birth family, and continuing to work and go after the things that I want, right? Like when I had my kids, and I wanted them to see that we can, at any time, we can still do what we want to do and be who we want to be. I think after my second son was born, I think I went back to school to be a veterinary assistant, right? Because I wanted them to know, like I love animals, so why don't I do something with animals, you know? And so I went back to school, and I did that for a while,
Yeah.
and then after my third son, my brother, well, his wife, I think, like they saw a gift in me in the way that I am with my kids, and so she told my brother, like, you know, you got to get her into the district. You got to, you know. So my brother hired me as an Indigenous support worker, and so I started working with kids in elementary school, and just I just wanted my kids to see that we can still be successful. We can still learn. We can still do what we want. And so I wound up going back to the nation after working for the district for 9 years, and then I went and got my PIDP, Provincial Instructor's Diploma.
Yeah, I took that course.
Yeah.
It was a great course.
Yeah. And then I got
Learn a
my
lot.
master's of Squamish education. And then I did my Squamish language certificate and Squamish language diploma.
Beautiful.
So,
And you work now for the nation, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now managing our education department.
And who are your brothers?
My brother, I have 3 brothers. My youngest,
Here, I meant, sorry. I should have
Yeah.
clarified that.
Yeah.
Because I know you have a huge family now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your birthday gifts must just be off the chain.
Yeah. But yeah, my youngest brother, he's in the field of education as well. He's the one who pulled me into the field of education. It's Ahousaht, Brad Baker. He was a district principal for North Vancouver School District,
Right.
and then now he is some big high up something in the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
Superintendent, something like that, of Indigenous education.
I've intersected with him at different
Yeah.
committees and things over the years too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
He's super Brad Baker.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then my middle brother is Darren Baker, and then my oldest brother is Brian Baker.
Okay.
Community ops.
Yeah.
Com
Yeah.
ops. Yeah.
Yeah. Love Brian. I love Brian.
I think he's now like an executive director or something like that.
Yeah.
Love Brian and Fiona. My two favorite people. Help! This thing's not working. Help me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Unless you need an elevator.
Yeah. Would you like to be a guest on Our Storytellers? Because all you have to do to connect with us is just email info@ourstorytellers.ca and we will get back to you as soon as possible. That sounds like a voicemail, which I think is hilarious. But if you email us, we'll give you a call and we'll listen to your story and we'll probably film it. So please reach out to us if you're interested in being a guest, because we love to share stories from all walks of life, from all different experiences. We think that everybody's story is valuable and that you can learn from anybody's story. So please email us and we'll schedule a call with you as soon as we can. That also sounds like a voicemail, but back to the podcast. What do you want like Indigenous youth in like mine and your son's generation to start focusing on today or start actioning today?
I really believe in what late Tanaft used to say all the time. Her advice was always for our young people to walk with a pencil in one hand and a feather in the other. She said that so often, but it's so true, because in doing my master's and research in the master's, like it's you're unbalanced if you don't have your connection to community and your connection to your ancestors and your culture and language. Then your academics struggle, your life struggles, because you're not balanced. And if you're focused on your academics too much, right, then that struggles your language and your culture. If you're focused on your language and culture 100%, your academics struggle, right? Like,
It's balance.
It's all about balance and being able to
Great advice.
walk that. I always saw it like a log, like you're walking on a log, and you have your culture over here that's helping you balance, and you have your education. So you need it balanced so you can continue to walk. Right.
Now, as a lacrosse mom, have you ever had to jump the boards or anything like that? Get anything done? No. No parent fights, nothing like that.
No. Not me.
You're tame.
Not me. Yeah. No, that was my mom. Yeah. I think my mom maybe got into a few scraps.
Just had to check.
Yeah. No.
You're thinking though.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Didn't really have to. My boys are all big, so they never got into trouble on the floor.
Well, that's lucky for them.
Nobody would really step to them, because they're big boys.
That's lucky for them. I'm jealous of that. Yeah. I didn't have that luxury, unfortunately. Yeah.
You had dad.
What?
You had dad.
I had nothing. I had nothing except for being left-handed. That's how I made every team I ever made. Do you want to dedicate this podcast to anyone?
Probably just my family, my boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell you one family story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my grandfather is from Hudson, Manitoba, which, and he was a World War II veteran. He was stuck in Hong Kong and Japan as a prisoner of war. He came back to Vancouver to recover. And as he was recovering here, I guess he recovered here for a few years. He came back. He was like 90 pounds, had problems, and he fathered a daughter out here. And for 10 years, over time, he would never sign the adoption papers for my aunt to get
to be adopted
by the dad that was raising her at the time. And so he was going back and forth, struggling, thinking about that. To my great grandmother, family was the most important thing ever. So
she wouldn't let him.
Yeah, she wouldn't let him sign her off. Long story short, he eventually does. Comes back, has my dad, my aunts, and lives back in Manitoba. 1 year ago now, we get a message on
Ancestry.
Well, not on Ancestry. We actually get a message on Facebook. My aunt does, because my aunt's profile picture is my grandfather. And she reaches out, and then we've reconnected with that side of the family. And Ancestry.com is actually what linked it up in the first place, because my dad put his ancestry on Ancestry.com. Actually, a friend of his did. And now I have my aunt back. So
she's 73.
Oh.
So they've had decades. They just had a picture of this little girl.
And when you're talking, like, your mom is like, when you and your mom are like interacting, and all of us got together for the first time, I was like, I can't believe there's another one. Like, fuck. There's enough Drurys in this world already as it is.
The genetics is such a strong thing in the whole picture of things.
She was immediately making fun of us. It was bad. It was all back to normal. But
yeah,
I just wanted to share that, because I think one thing I can take out of this, like your story, our story, mom's story, is that family does matter so much, and it makes you feel strong in who you are when you know your family. And I can definitely relate to that. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to share your story. Like, it means so much to me, and to come on the podcast. And yeah, thank you so much. That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. There's so much gratitude for my own research in our families, in our women. My focus is really learning more about our women, especially in those generations. We have so many impacts as Indigenous women. We have so many public stories and other things out there that don't give a picture of who our women really are. And part of the research within the scope of what I'm doing is about exploring those stories in meaningful ways, helping to, bring the voices out of women who are just there doing the work every single day, never seeking that kind of limelight. So there's no performance in the way that the research is done. It's so community based to try and tease out the stories and have them speak, have them come and connect. It just learning about all the family connections. There's so much more direct and so much more connected this way. So that's been one of the really beautiful things that's come out of sitting with our women. So I've learned so incredibly much from every one of the interviews we've had. The work that my son and his friend, who we just call our another adopted son, the work that they've done has been just so remarkable to take this, run with it. They do all the all the background work and stuff. So there's a lot of gratitude in coming together and sitting. So again, thank you so very much for coming in and giving us your time. It's valuable to us. And I appreciate you very much in so many ways. You're never not acknowledged in our family, in our community. So
Let's eat these oatmeal cookies.